Hi, I'm Keith Rimlinger. I'm a test engineer, software developer, and founder of Test Spectrum. And back when we started Test Spectrum, we very quickly found the need for data analysis. So I'd like to introduce to you today a tool that we've developed over the years to help us plan, characterize, correlate various activities through the daily projects that a test engineer would encounter. You can open several different types of data files. You're going to want to go to the menu, either open data files, or you can use this click button here that'll allow you to select the different data files. I'm going to go through and open a gzipped STDF file. You can see as it's opening, you can cancel it up here using the stop button, and you'll get a progress indicator down in the bottom right. Once it's open, several of the tabs that exist within DataView will become active at the top. Process view, record view, table view, bin view, histo view, so on. The first screen that shows is process view, and that gives some high-level information about the file that was open. So we can see that data file, the compressed gzip, or compressed STDF file had 5831 device test records in it, distributed across 16 sites, 0 to 15. We go through, check out a couple of other tabs. This is histo view. So this is going to show you different histograms, box plots, those types of things. If we look over on the left, you'll see a test selection window. So you can use this pane to go through, click, select different tests. I'm just using the mouse to go through different tests. You can also use arrow keys, arrow up, select, and it'll change the perspective of the test that you're looking at over here. Several items in this view are movable, so you can configure them if they're in the wrong place and you need to move something around because it overlaps. A lot of them you can simply click, drag, and move them around. You can also zoom in on sections, so if you click and drag the mouse, you can zoom in on a particular section. You can zoom back out by clicking up here or right-clicking. There's extensive menu, undo zoom is at the top. If you want to select multiple tests at the same time and show them, you can simply hold down the shift or the control key and then click multiple tests. And as you click them, the new test will be drawn over in this area. As I showed a few minutes ago, a lot of the settings are available by right-clicking. You get different menus. All of the same settings are available under the Settings tab over here in this control panel. So the style right now that we're looking at, I've got several different tests that we're displaying, highlighted over here. And you can see they're displaying top to bottom. We can right-click and change that layout. So I can say tile 2 by 2, and then we'll get 2 by 2 for each one of the tests selected. I can continue to add more, and it'll fill out that grid. Let's remove a couple of items and show a few different things. So box plot is showing. If I don't want to show a box plot, I can remove that. If I'd like a table of statistics, then I can say show table. You'll get a table down below. This has got all the various statistics, each one of the individual tests listed, the limits, mean, standard deviation, median, etc. Let's go back to one of the other layouts. I can go to just the tile down again. You see it zooms in a bit. There's also the concept of data sets. This is happens to be a 16-site wafer probe data file. And so within that, we have 16 different sites activated. And under data sets, I have collections of parts that were tested for each site. So I'm going to select all of those and show the different data sets. I'll unselect all. We can look at the individual sites. So in this view, I've got every one of the different sites histograms superimposed over one. It's called a stack style. I can change that to individual, and then we'll get the individual histograms for each one of the sites. You can see in the label here the title, site 0 and site 1. And again, I can change the layout. Go to maybe tile by 2 again. Any one of these graphs or images, maybe you're trying to build a report, or you're looking through and you're trying to investigate some sort of a problem. As you collect evidence or you find interesting reports, then you can use the Save in Report button up at the top, click it, and it will put an image or a duplicate of whatever perspective you're looking at in the report section over here. I'll come back and show that in a minute. But as we go through, I could go back to the previous. Maybe we want to look at several tests like we were before. Find that interesting. I'll save that in a report. We can also switch perspectives. So right now we're looking at 4 or 5 tests. We have it a 2x2 view in DataView. I can take and say, switch the view, show me the same exact perspective in another tab. So I can say, switch to trend view, for example. And this will take the same setup, the same collection of tests that are selected, the same layout, and show you those in a trend style format. Again, say we're interested in this, we're trying to prove something or build up a report to share, save that in a report, and it'll put the image over into the report view. As I mentioned, this is a 16-site wafer probe map. So under bin view, we can get some of the different perspectives from a wafer map. Now, generally, the default view in bin view is a bin Pareto, a yield Pareto. Like all the other perspectives, you can zoom in on particular sections, isolate, go in and look at a particular bin. Same thing applies in bin view. Undo zoom or use the minus button at the top. But let me switch here. We have a couple of quick buttons. Let me switch to wafer map. So now we're looking at the wafer map for this data record. And I'll zoom in just a little bit using some of the plus minus buttons at the top. Like the Pareto, like the histogram, you can do a drag select and zoom in on a particular item. If you find that one, maybe you want to save that one in the report. So we'll save that over in the report. If you click on any of these, the various colors kind of indicate different binning, but if we click on any particular one, it'll show you that it does a zoom in basically, and it'll show you that there are two different test records for this XY coordinate of the wafer. And so it's showing you the first one in the back, kind of, and the latest one overlaid in front. If it was tested 3 times, you'd see 3, or 4 times, you'd see 4. Any of these, you can click on them and go and look directly at the test record that for that device. So if I double click on that one, then it'll jump me to table view, and it'll show the actual test record for that particular chip. You should be able to scroll down and see where. So maybe we want to save this with the zoomed in. Again, we can save and report. We can zoom back out. Let's save the wafer map in the report, and we can go through various different views, store different things, over time build up this report. Let me show you another perspective. This is the wafer map. You can also look at what's called a lot view, and this will show you run by run. So again, this is 16 sites, one particular touchdown, 16 devices theoretically will be tested simultaneously. That is a run. So the first run you can see here, it's each row. We had 4 or 5 parts tested. So basically the probe card was only partially touching the wafer. And as it went through, more and more devices were tested. As it gets close to the edge, you'll see these type of overlap or missing parts. Again, let's save this one in the report. Store it for later. Same as the others, you can zoom in on a particular section. You can click on any of them and jump to the various test records. Let's go to report view now. We've gone through, I've saved a few things. If we want to see some of the thumbnails, we can kind of get an idea of the various images that were stored, or the various pieces of the report that were stored. You can double click on any of these and jump right back to that same view. So if you double click, it'll go back to the same tab that item was created with, and it'll redraw it. Once you build up the report, you're satisfied with it, and you'd like to save it and keep it, send it to someone else, and you can come back to report view, go over to the left side pane, and you select the type of report you want to save: PDF, newer Excel format, older Excel format, or an HTML. So you can generate basically a little website that you can share. I'm going to generate the newer style Excel report. Hit save report, and it'll ask you what you want to call it. Test new. We'll save that. Down at the bottom, you can see that it says test new.xlsx was created. Let's go to that. I believe this is the right directory. There it is, testnew.xls. Open that. Then we have the XLS file. The individual chart types or the view types are separated by different tabs. So as you click on each one, you'll see each of the images, each of the reports that we generated. I believe HistoView had the tables selected as well, so we should see those at the bottom. So there's the images that we created and the individual statistics tables. The wafer maps that we created, there's the zoomed in image with the 2 dice that are highlighted, and then the individual bin maps. And same for lot view. So this is the individual image that we took for that particular tab. DataView was created by test engineers for test engineers. We saw the need very early on to prove to our customers that when we were working on a job that we actually completed and did the work correctly. And so when you do that, if you're doing a throughput improvement or test time optimization, typically you start with a known operating system, and then you're going to move it to some new platform or new process. And so, immediately the need for statistics comes into play to be able to go through and say, yes, this is how it was performing before, this is how we've made these new improvements, and this is how it's performing now, and it's as good or better than the original solution.